Loyalty doesn't mean blind agreement. Welcome back to another episode of JV Matters, where we talk about football. I'm your host, Coach Lowry. Today we're talking about loyalty. So let's get started. One of the big misconceptions about loyalty is it means agreeing with everything, but it doesn't. In fact, some of the most loyal players and coaches I've ever been around disagreed with decisions from time to time. Now, not everyone, not every decision made or everything out there. You want to put that out there so you're not disagreeing with everything that's put out there by the coach. But that's normal. That's human. The problem isn't agreement. The problem is how you handle it. In football, there are going to be moments where you don't agree with every decision. A player may not agree with where he's listed on the depth chart. That's going to happen. A parent may not agree with a coaching decision. That's going to happen all year long. An assistant coach may not agree with a game plan. That'll happen now and then. A coach may not agree with a decision made from above. That's part of being a team. An organization functions without occasional disagreement. The question is whether you allow disagreement to become division. And I've seen that too many times. This can happen to you when this can't happen. You you want it to be able to work as one oiled machine. You want to be able to work together. You have to be able to be a machine. One of the lessons I've learned as a coach is that healthy disagreement can actually make a team stronger. Good assistant coaches bring in great ideas to the table. They offer different perspectives. They ask questions. They challenge assumptions. My current staff that I'm working with right now, we work well together. There's no arguing. If we disagree, that is fine. That's great, and that's what I want. But if it comes to an argument, that's not what I want. But if it gets a little bit out of hand, we'll take it inside or behind closed doors so it's away from the players until we come up with what is right. And I may have to change my mind because maybe their idea is better, which is fine. That's valuable. That's that that's disagreement. Disagreement can make a team grow together. That also lets you know your players are invested into the team. If they're disagreeing with you or they have an idea or they have questions, that lets you know they're invested into your team. A head coach shouldn't surround himself with people who simply nod their head all day long. The best staff I've been around had coaches willing to speak honestly, but they also understood something important. Once a decision was made, everyone moved forward together. That's important. That's loyalty, not blind agreement, but commitment. I've seen staffs fall apart because coaches couldn't separate disagreement from disloyalty. Every decision became a battle. Every challenge became an argument. Every setback became an opportunity to point fingers. We don't want that. I had one player tell me or tell one of my assistant coaches that we work well together. And he's not even on my team. He's on the varsity team and he saw that. That there was no issue with our coaching staff. That he could see how we work as a team. I firmly believe a head coach survives and is successful because of the coaches he has around him. They make him better. They never want to point fingers. That never ends well. Players notice it, parents notice it, the culture suffers. The same thing happens with players. A player may not like his role. That's going to happen. You're going to see that all the time. He may believe he deserves more playing time. He may think he should be starting. And maybe he's right. And maybe he's wrong. We as a coaching staff, right now where I'm at, my coaching staff, we're starting to go through this situation now. We're moving pieces around. Who's going to go? Who's going to work well in a particular position? We're starting to move pieces around. But loyalty isn't tested when you agree with everything. It's tested when you don't. Can you continue to work? Can you continue to support your teammates? Can you continue to prepare? Can you continue to put the team first? Those are difficult questions, but they're important ones to have answers to. Because every player will eventually face disappointment. Every coach will eventually face frustration. Every team will face adversity. This is when you are really tested because coaches will put you where you want to be able to, where you can help the team. So they're going to put you where you need to be, where you're going to be most valuable for that team most of the time. That's where you're going to end up probably even at the varsity level as well. Your varsity coaches are going to point things out to you. They're going to help you out. What separates strong teams from weak teams is often how they handle those moments. Strong teams are unified, are united. Weak teams are fractured. One of the greatest compliments a coach can receive is having players who continue to buy in to the team, even when things aren't going exactly how they hope. That's maturity. That's character. That's loyalty. As a JV coach, I've had players who are disappointed, players who wanted more, players who felt overlooked. You're always going to get that. Every year, you're going to get that. Some responded by pulling away. Others responded by working harder. Guess which group earned more opportunity? You got it right. The second group. Because coaches notice the commitment. Coaches notice perseverance. Coaches notice players who continue to invest in the team even when they're frustrated. The same is true for coaches. Programs need assistant coaches who are willing to support the mission, even when they don't personally benefit from every decision, especially at the JV level. We've all seen players move up to varsity. We've all had roster changes. We've all had those moments where things just didn't go according to plan, and we're going to continue to have that every year. The loyal coaches understand the program comes first, not individual preference, not personal recognition, the program. That's why loyalty is such a powerful trait. It creates trust. At the end of the day, loyalty doesn't mean you always agree. It means you remain committed to the mission even when you don't agree. And that's a lesson that extends far beyond football. Because you're going to need those lessons when you leave football, when you leave high school. So, in closing thought, loyalty isn't yes to everything. Loyalty is staying committed when things don't go your way. Anybody can support when they agree. Real loyalty shows up when they don't. And that's where strong teams are built. Loyalty doesn't mean blind agreement. In today's episode, we discuss why the strongest players and coaches and teams learn how to stay committed, even when they disagree. That's where trust is built and where real culture begins. So if you like this episode, please subscribe below. Hit the bell so you don't miss any of the episodes for this week's about loyalty. And I'll catch you on tomorrow's episode of JV Matters. And you all have an outstanding day.